Thank you. Some of you may know that one of my responsibilities is for membership and the development of membership services. So I'm very pleased to be able to introduce our next speaker, who I asked her if she would like me to say any words about her, and she said to me, "Don't worry, buddy, I've got it covered." So with no further ado, I'd like to hand over to Alicia Miranda, who is the Director of Trust Law at the Thomson Reuters Foundation.
Hi. How are y'all doing today? Good? Thank you so much for having us here. It's really an honor. I used to work with Joanna at Standard Chartered Bank, so I've known about the IAPB for a long time. Have an incredible amount of respect for the work that you guys do, and I'm very pleased that in my new role, hopefully we'll be able to help many of you in this room out. So I am here representing the Thomson Reuters Foundation. We are the corporate foundation of Thomson Reuters, the global news and information company that many of you might have heard of, or you probably know Reuters, the news agency, in some form or another. The foundation has three main programs. Our focus is really on providing news and information for action. And we've got three things that we do. TrustLaw Connect is one of them, which you'll hear about. We have an editorial staff at the foundation. We've got 26 full-time journalists that work just for us, covering underreported issues on things like human rights, good governance, corruption, women's rights, climate change, things that you may not see as often as you'd like in the mainstream media, but that we feel are really important to cover. We have another program that does journalism training. The foundation's been doing that for 30 years, so building the ethics and practice of journalism around the world. And TrustLaw Connect, which just celebrated its third birthday in July. And part of the impetus for this came when Thomson acquired Reuters and had quite a large legal business and many connections into the legal world. And there was an understanding that pro bono was very well established in the US, in Australia, in the UK. It was relatively simple to access pro bono services from lawyers if you needed them, but in the rest of the world there wasn't necessarily a culture. So we set out to do that. So that is what we do. We are a global pro bono service, and we take organizations like yourselves, high-impact NGOs, charities, and social enterprises, and we match them up with the best law firms around the world who are happy to provide pro bono service to them. It is a free service. It's free for the members. It's free for the lawyers to join. Everything is funded by the foundation, and our mission is really to help organizations that are already short-staffed, probably don't have as much funding as they could, to take care of their basic legal needs and sometimes bigger legal needs without having to sacrifice what they're doing in terms of the service they offer to their beneficiaries. So this is just a little slide with a bit about our global impact. Our team is headquartered in London, but we've got offices now in Beijing, Mumbai, Johannesburg, Rio, and New York. So we are an increasingly global team, and we really aim, as we said, to spread the practice of pro bono, so it's not just about doing it in the UK or the US. So these are just some of our key stats. Our network is now at nearly 1,400 members, so it's growing up by the day. We've got about 330 law firms at the moment, and those are active in 145 countries. So the idea is not to match up an NGO in Ghana with a lawyer in the UK, but with a lawyer in Ghana that understands all of the laws that they need to be able to provide a good service. We aim to have 65% of our connections outside of what we call traditional pro bono markets. And we've generated over $25 million US in free legal service for the organizations that we support. And we say 750 connections in places that are incredibly diverse. And even just in the past 6 months, we've had first connections in Rwanda, Malawi, Nepal, South Sudan, I believe. We're trying to be everywhere, and we're hoping that we get quite a few of you to join us as well. So how do you join? IAPB is a referral partner. We are so thrilled that they're on board, which means that you as members get something that we call fast track access. It's just kind of a shiny name to basically tell you that we try to smooth out the process for you, knowing how IAPB selects its members and knowing what illustrious reputations you all have in the room. So it's very easy. You do have to join on your own, although you get fast track access. You can join via our website. We will review and vet the application, and really what it means is you get to skip over a few of the steps that can make the process a bit more time-consuming. So with Fast Track, we would hope to be able to get you on board as soon as possible so you can start posting legal requests that you might need. So why should you join? Well, because you get to talk to me sometimes. That might be fun. For NGOs and social enterprises, it's access. It's access to a huge pool of lawyers at different firms around the world. A lot of people ask us sometimes, well, I already have one firm that helps me out pro bono when I need it, so I don't really need to join. And what we say to that is fantastic. You're incredibly lucky if you have a firm that's supporting you. But as you probably know if you've worked with them for a while, pro bono is something that lawyers do when they have the time away from their billable clients. Often, you don't have time to wait for those needs that you might have. So we've got a huge network. In most of our countries, we've got multiple firms that can help, which means that we can get you something as soon as possible when you need it. So it's just really broadening your network, and we do quite a number of cross-border research programs, one of which I'll explain. And then sometimes NGOs want to know why on earth the lawyers would volunteer to give up their time. It's a huge opportunity for them. Their lawyers love it. Many firms have mandatory pro bono hours that they have to do. It's kind of increasing around the world, and it's fun for people who sometimes spend all day doing corporate mergers and acquisitions to be able to spend time thinking about eye care, global health, land rights, something slightly different from their day jobs. And in addition to being able to access postings for the network, you have access to our publications and events, which are held all around the world. We have a jobs board that you get to post for free on if you're looking for talent, and we offer discounts on our journalism training courses, which also do media training and communications training for organizations that need. So I am not a lawyer, but I have a team of lawyers that can support, and they know a lot about these things. But to give you a sense of kind of what we do and what we don't do, day-to-day legal issues, anything that you can think of, commercial, operational, that you would need support on. There's a few examples up here of things that we've done, expanding into a different country. There are a whole host of needs that you might have around that. And it's everything from looking after employment contracts, getting a lawyer in the new country you're reaching out to review your contracts there, to making sure that your IP is all buttoned up and any intellectual property that you have is taken care of, and that you know you're going to be kind of safe with that. License agreements, governance and corporate structure advice. You know, these are all things that you guys probably know a little bit more about than me, but anything that you could think of that you'd like a lawyer to do, we're pretty much there to help you with. What we don't do is we don't support individuals. We don't get involved in disputes or litigation. We provide support to organizations on things that they might need. So the best time to come to us, ideally, is not when you have a pending court case or a huge legal problem that has arisen, but rather beforehand. Other things we can do are things like risk analyses. So maybe you're looking for a new area of operations and you want to know what the legal risk would be in doing that. That's something that we're happy to do. And something else that we offer in addition, because we've got such a large global network, is we take on about 15 to 20 cross-border research programs a year. And that is for organizations who are particularly working on advocating for policy or legislative change. And they often want global research to look at where there are gaps in policies, where policies are being implemented well in countries around the world. Again, if you've got pro bono support in one country, they might not have the tools to be able to do this research. Sometimes they don't have the time or you don't have the time. So this is the kind of thing that we're able to do. This is a publication that we launched in June. It was a request that came from the mHealth Alliance at the UN Foundation, and they really wanted to know what are the different laws relating to data protection, privacy, and security around the transmission of mobile health data. I imagine that might be relevant to some of you in this room. So yes, it's data protection and privacy law, maybe not the most interesting subject if you're not a lawyer, but actually the people who are using this are assuring me that it's really fantastic and useful. No, it really is great, because I think what this did is pull data from a ton of different countries to enable people who are then trying to affect change in their regions to understand where they might be able to follow models from different countries, where there are some gaps in their policies and things they need to think about. This publication is available for free on our website to download. We did an event around it with the UN Foundation. You can see very tiny, Baker & McKenzie and Merck were the law firms that worked on that for us. So, and this is just a selection of some of our members. We cover all focus areas, all remits, as many countries as we can. If we don't have a lawyer in that country, we will try to find one. And really, we're just here to help. We do this because we think it's important. We believe in what pro bono can do to support organizations, and we are really pleased to be partnered with the IAPB and hope that many of you in this room will join us. Do you have time for questions or no? Any kind of immediate questions?
Yeah, Kathy, and then Susan.
So we've got, I think our current number is about 75 organizations in Africa, but we hired a new person starting in Johannesburg who's covering the region. She started 2 weeks ago, so the aim is to grow down there. Eventually, the foundation will have a small office down in Johannesburg over the next few years. One of our co-heads of legal is actually moving down there to do a secondment next month because we really think that there's so much more we could be doing in the region. A lot of times our recruitment in the past has been a little bit ad hoc. We come to things like this, we talk to loads of people, we get members to sign up. But obviously the best way to do this is to have somebody there face to face. So we're very much hoping to grow. In terms of our lawyer network, I think we've got lawyers in 16 different countries at the moment. Easier to place projects in some than others, but that depends on the project and on the country.
Suzanne?
Well, there's a big stack of brochures on that table right there. Our website is pretty easy to remember, and I have to head out, but I am leaving my colleague Jess. Jess, can you stand up and wave to everybody? Jess started yesterday, so please be nice to her. Jess is on my team leading the membership for our NGOs and social enterprises. She actually knows a lot about the service, so she can probably answer most of the things at the coffee break or anything if you want to talk to her. But I'll leave my cards as well. I'll leave a stack of cards. Our website is just trust.org. It's pretty easy to remember. We'll have a link for you guys that I think Joanna has that's going to go up on your members site. And if you have any questions, just call me, send me an email. I'm always happy to hear from people doing different things.